Greetings and welcome to Bury in the Past Conversation Lounge, a space created to share information about the evolving trends of funeral and memorial planning and customization. Today we will discuss final expense insurance with Deb Deflorimonte, insurance agent with Lincoln Heritage. Hi Deb, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for being here. I have people are always asking questions about final expense insurance. So this is really, really going to be big today. I know a lot of
Okay.
people are going to tune in and listen to what you have to say.
Well, thank you for having me
Oh, you're
because we've been working
welcome.
on this for a
Yes,
little
we
bit. So
have.
thank you for
We've
having
been
me.
talking about it for a while,
Yes.
right? Okay. All right. So my first question, we're going to jump right on in. My first question is, what company do you represent and what is final expense insurance?
All right. All right. So I represent Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company and the Funeral Advantage program. And what we do with Final Expense is that we help out families with permanent solutions so that we pay out those claims within 24 to 48 hours, where the demographics that we serve, they truly need this money and they need it fast, so we're able to fill that void.
Oh, wow, that sounds good. Okay. Okay, so how long have you been in the industry and why did you choose final expense insurance?
That's a great question. I've been in the industry for 17 years now. I actually started in Final Expense.
Okay.
Wasn't aligned to a very well. This alignment is a very much better alignment when I'm looking at my longevity with the business. But my goal, whatever I do, is to help people. And I really see this as a way to service people, especially those that really don't have the money for their final expenses. And so they can do their burial or cremations or memorials with dignity and have that money. So I see it as a much needed service, especially in our community. People just need to be educated on what's going on and how to handle those final affairs.
Absolutely. Oh, that was good. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between term and whole life? I know a lot
Oh,
of
yes,
people
I get that a
need that.
lot.
Yep.
So, term is a temporary solution. I think that term has its place. Most policies, they would last for maybe 10, maybe 20 years. Once they reach age 80, it automatically cancels out and they become uninsurable. So I say term is great for a young family. You know, husband doesn't come home, wife can still keep the household going, the kids in school, pay off the mortgage. That's great. But when that expires, right, you still got to get buried or cremated. So you need a permanent solution and you need to get in early when your health is great and your age is young. That way it stays affordable. So that's the difference. So whole life now with my program, we pay out within 24 hours, and we just really help families. The unique difference between us is that we have the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society, so you won't find it anywhere else. It's an exclusive program, and our goal is to help families get paid quickly, which I keep saying, as well as making sure that they're not emotionally or financially taken advantage of when death occurs.
All right. So typically, how are claims paid?
Well, with typical insurance companies, it could actually take weeks to months to pay out because it can take 2 to 3 weeks for just the death certificate to come in by itself. And so, with that being said, it's a whole process. They have to receive it, they have to review it, they have to now approve it. And then, so you'll hear companies say, oh, we pay out within 24 to 48 hours, but actually, that's the whole process going through it. They have to receive it, which is 2 to 3 weeks, review it, approve it, and then within 24 hours after that whole process, then it pays out within 24 hours. Now, with final expense, with Lincoln Heritage, once we receive that death certificate, we will pay out within 24 to 48 hours. And also, once the client has been with us for over 2 years, we can actually accelerate that on a case by case basis, where we would pay 80% of the face amount, even without a death certificate, and then the remaining 20% once the death certificate has been submitted.
So, Deb, tell me, how does your final expense plan work?
All right. So basically, my clients would call in, or they'll send a brochure back, and basically I'll ask them a few questions. Right? We don't do any push-ups, no sit-ups. I don't ask for a height or weight or anything like that. I just ask them just a few health questions. We don't do any blood or urine or medical, but based on those questions, I'm able to discern of what plan that person would qualify for.
Okay, that's good information. All right. Okay, so my next question is, what is the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society and what do they do?
All right. So the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society is our silver bullet. So you can only find it with Lincoln Heritage. And our sole purpose is we're made up of ex funeral directors. So we actually have come together to help clients on the worst day of their lives to make sure that they're not emotionally or financially taken advantage of. At time of loss, we'll review the contract. We tell our clients, don't sign it. Don't let the funeral home know what you're working with. Let us review that contract, because there's different things that we can look at, like the casket, the flowers, and the programs. And you can actually get those things outside of the funeral home, saving the money, saving the family lots of money. So we'll
Okay.
advise them of that.
Oh, okay. So that's an option for families as well that I didn't know about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So next question is, what type of conditions are covered through Lincoln Heritage?
Great question. I've covered someone with cancer, active cancer. Oh gosh. Anything. Heart disease, uh, high blood pressure. With a lot of companies, if you got a little sugar, a little gout, a little cholesterol, they're denied. But actually, that's first day covered. So it would be on an individual basis, but we have a 98% acceptance rate. So we're not turning away a lot of people. You could be 500 pounds. And, depending on if you have any other stuff going on, you may qualify for first day coverage.
Right. Good information. All right. So my next question is, do you have any additional services that are offered with your policy?
Oh, yes. Based on your acceptance, we do have a terminal illness rider. So basically, if once you get enrolled in a program, God forbid you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, less than 12 months to live, you can actually accelerate your policy. I did one claim for a couple, and their dying wish was to go to the beach. So they were able to get a lump sum out of the policy. This does reduce the face amount as well as the premium, but they were able to get that money to handle his dying wish. So I was so happy that I was able to assist that family. Also, we have riders like accidental death and dismemberment. So that kind of beefs up the policy, because you can't plan an accident. So that extra money would be paid out on top of the face amount. And also, we can help with children and grandchildren. So we have riders for that, where we can tack on children and grandchildren. And that's an inexpensive way to get some coverage, especially with the children nowadays. Anything is happening, and it doesn't take age or illness to pass away.
Okay. Explain a little bit more about how you can add your grandchildren to the rider.
Okay. So a grandparent or a parent, once they have a policy with us, we will be able to attach it to that policy. And for every $5,000, it's $2 in premium. So if someone wanted $10,000 on a child, that would be $4 per child. So you can't pay favorites with that. So if you have 10 grandchildren, you have to get the same units for all of them. If you choose five, all of them have to have five. But it's a nice, inexpensive way to get them some coverage, and it does transfer over when they're 25. You can actually put it into a whole life. You can convert it without going to the underwriting process, because they've been with us, so we can just convert it over to whole life at that point.
Okay. Okay, that's very nice. That's
Mm-hmm.
good. All right. So, My next question is why should someone get final expense? Why should someone get a final expense program?
For peace of mind, because you're literally buying peace of mind, knowing that you have a top rated company who's been in business for 61 years to stand behind you. I'll tell it to you in this way. This is just this incident, but I had a young man I covered on a Tuesday. Unfortunately, he passed away that very Friday. We did do our due diligence and did the background check, but we actually paid out that claim. A lot of companies would have just returned that premium or maybe a portion of the face amount. Of course, this is case by case, but we stood with that family, and they would have been devastated without that $12,000.
Wow, wow.
So
That's really good to know, because, like you said, in most cases, I mean, we're talking about 3 days he died,
exactly.
and Lincoln Heritage paid that claim.
Right. I've had other clients short of the 2 years, because every insurance company has a 2 year contestability period. But even with that being the case, we just do a little bit more background in that person, and if they qualify for first day coverage, we're going to pay out that claim. So we ask them to be forthright in the
That's
application.
right.
Yep,
That's right.
yep,
Tell everything up front, and so we
exactly.
can avoid
So we
any.
can, yeah, stand with our families.
That,
Absolutely.
that's right. Okay, well, thank you so much for addressing the questions that we had today. I know so many people still have a lot of questions because this is definitely not enough time to get all of the questions in. Can you give us your information if someone wants to contact you?
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Deb Deflorimonte, and you can reach me at 803-795-4094. Once again, Deb Deflorimonte at 803-795-4094. Look forward to assisting you or getting any of your questions answered, or just a free quote or education. Have a blessed one.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much,
You're
Deb. I
welcome.
appreciate you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Welcome to Burying the Past, hosted by funeral director Melanie B. This podcast focuses on how the death care industry is changing and how the old conventional way of doing things has become a thing of the past. During the pandemic trends, visions and ideas about funeral and memorial services have made a major pivot, and things have changed in the death care industry. Gone are the days of not having options when it comes to the type of service you want for your loved ones. In each episode, Melanie, she shares inspiring information, frequently asked questions, and insightful interviews with industry professionals and individuals impacted by loss in the DMV. Melanie delves into the intricate tapestry of traditional versus non-traditional funeral and memorial services. With a compassionate approach, each episode of Burying the Past navigates a delicate balance between honoring tradition and embracing change in our collective journey through loss and remembrance.